Hello and welcome to 2025 seed trials or seed medium trials. If you watched my clips from 2023 and 2024, you know that I'm a big fan of wood chips and how we've been through the process of identifying that wood chips alone aren't quite up to it, but wood chips and Leafmold together are the ideal medium for sowing seeds into. And if you watch those other two clips, you'll find that the best commercially available peat-free composts cannot match, not quite match, Leafmold and wood chip. So we've established these facts quite conclusively, but I want to try something new again this year, because it's always worth trying. So the big enemy of wood chips, 3-year-old wood chips, sifted, is the fact that they have a lot of weed seed in them. In the past, I have got over this by microwaving them. But I'm a weirdo person. I prefer not to have energy inputted into the compost mediums. I'm genuinely trying to reduce energy inputs into everything I do. I know I use a petrol lawnmower and all this sort of thing, but we're not going to go into that. I'm trying my best to get everything down. So I'm trying not to use the microwave this year. So this year's idea was that I hot composted wood chips. And what I'm going to be playing off this time is hot composted wood chips, 3 years old, against Leafmold and wood chips that are 3 years old, and that's a proven success. And then I'm also going to be using this stuff again. I've just gone and bought a brand new bag. It may not be the best, but it's the best that I can get in my area, because we're at the mercy of whatever our individual garden centres decide to sell. And down here in the southwest, there isn't a huge amount of choice, but this should be one of the best. When there was still peat composts available, this was almost as good as the peat composts. In certain circumstances, it was better. So what I'm saying is, I think this represents the best that's available on the market that can be commercially bought. But I want to see if I can beat the quality of this. Now then, I've got a slight complication this year, and that is I've now sold my house, which means this greenhouse will not belong to me in 2.5 weeks' time. So I'm restricting what I'm sowing to those crops that will be started off in the warm. They're actually going to go up in the conservatory in a minute. Started off up there, get them going, and then take them down the polytunnel at the allotment, because that's being kept for the minute. Both cabbages and onions, or brassicas and onions, will be hard enough to stand cool temperatures. It shouldn't go down too cold for us here anyway. We're in the mild southwest, and we just don't get it cold down here like that. So I have one thing I wanted to show you as well. Now ignore the bag here. I'm going to show you this is my own compost, but I just want to give you a bit of compost porn. Look at that there, look. That is absolutely gorgeous. It's so fine. And all that is 50% Leafmold, 2-year-olds, and 50% wood chips, 3 years old, that have been sieved through a sieve like this, with, what is it, 1/4 inch holes. This gives the medium good contact with the seed. So all of the compost will go through the sieve, so we don't want any lumps in the seed sowing mixture. Just showing the sifting process. I'm not all that impressed with the Sylvagrow this year. Let me just show you. There's quite a lot of lumps left in that compost. I know it's not advertised as seed compost, but even so, that's a lot of uncomposted remains. I'm sure it was better than that last year. Perhaps I've got a bag that's not so good. But for seed sowing, it's important that the seeds have maximum contact with the actual grains of whichever compost you're using. I mean, that's universally important. You definitely want to have a lovely fine seed soil mixture. Not this. This isn't very good, really, to be honest with you. So before we sow the seed, we give this a good watering, because I want the seed in contact with moist compost. The one thing you can see visually is that this mixture that I'm now watering here is noticeably less fine than the other two. Will that make a difference? We'll have to wait and see. These little pump action sprayers are absolutely wonderful for not making a mess, for being fine enough to do the job and powerful enough to get the compost wet, of course. I don't have a huge amount of seeds, so all things being equal, let's see how we get on. There we have it. That's the trial underway. Now they are on heated mat. This is not necessary, it's just that I want to get them away and get them up quickly. They'll also go into these little plastic lids with the vents closed for now. All freshly washed. And then the vents will be opened as soon as there's any movement in growth. And as I said, the heat isn't important really. It just should help in this instance get them going. That's the start of the sowing done. There's a cauliflower here, there's red lander up here, onions, global onions, the onions that you see me sow just now, and one more batch of ordinary cabbage, which is a non clubroot variety, just an ordinary variety. I should be able to grow up the field because I shouldn't have problems with the clubroot, he says, keeping everything crossed. Golden acre. And a very last job today is to sow some very old seed, which I suspect won't come up at all. Musper leeks. It's an open packet. It's old seed. If I can get it open, that is. And I'm just going to thickly sow this. Well, I don't know what I've done here. Right, let's try this again. So in full anticipation of this not actually working, I'm going to sow the entire packet in the concrete. Oh my goodness, well, it's a bit much. That's a ridiculous amount of seed. So that is a cringe-worthy amount of seed. And then lightly covered compost, and not even put a label on it because some idiot packed all the labels. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining me once again, and I hope this has been of some interest. I'd like to see more people trying to make their own compost, because it is entirely easy as long as you've got an ability to put wood chip down on paths. Free compost, costing you nothing. A little bit of time, not a lot of time. Cheers guys, see you later. Excuse the balancing act here, but this is all the reject material. That won't be thrown away, because this will be excellent as part of the potted mix for the potatoes. So normally you see me doing early potatoes with this stuff. You won't see me doing it this year because I don't have the ability to keep it frost free. So no early potatoes for me this year.